The court is listening to the recorded deposition of Amber Heard's former friend Raquel "Rocky" Pennington. Ms. Pennington recalls seeing cuts on Heard's feet and arms, but says she was not in Australia when she sustained these injuries. She goes on to say that later that year she attended a Thanksgiving dinner hosted by Heard and Depp, and she did not see any injuries on both of them. Ms. Vasquez draws her attention to December 2015, when Heard called Ms. Pennington over to her penthouse to check her injuries. The former friend says she observed a bloody patch with hair missing on Heard's head and agrees that she had previously testified that Heard had a laceration on her forehead. She agrees that she had taken pictures of Heard's injuries on her phone at the time. She goes on to say she then saw a clump of hair in Heard's penthouse. The witness is asked how she knew the hair belonged to Heard, and she replies, hair had been ripped out of her scalp, and it was her color on the floor of her apartment. However, when asked if she saw the hair being ripped out of Heard's head, she says she did not. Johnny Depp's lawyer Camille Vasquez now draws her attention to Heard's appearance on The Late Late Show with James Corden in 2015, which took place the day after Heard alleged she had been attacked by Depp. Ms. Pennington recalls Heard showing her makeup artist her lip and her hairstylist the missing hair on her head. She says she did not see Heard being struck by Johnny Depp. She did not see Depp throw anything at Amber Heard also. Depp's lawyer asks, did you ever witness Mr. Depp kick Ms. Heard? Ms. Pennington again says she did not. When asked if she ever personally saw Depp cause Heard injury, Ms. Pennington says, I didn't see it. Mr. Rottenborn asks, you heard Johnny refer to this other version of himself as the monster directly, either heard or saw it written in a text. Ms. Pennington responds. Ms. Pennington begins to tear up as she describes the relationship Heard and Depp shared, saying, I was sad for her, and I was also sad for Johnny because he is my friend too, and I really wanted them to be able to get it together. Asked about the type of harm she was worried about for Heard, Ms. Pennington continues, in the beginning I wasn't worried. Towards the end, when the physical abuse was more evident, I was worried. I was worried for her physical safety. I was worried that when he turned he might do something that was worse than he intended. Raquel Pennington tells Heard's lawyer Ben Rottenborn she was getting ready for an artist craft show in one of the apartments in Heard's penthouse complex when Heard got a message from Depp saying he wanted to come over. Ms. Pennington says Heard went to see Depp in another apartment that is connected to the building, but she later sent a text to her asking her to come over. When she arrived, she says she saw Depp yelling at Heard. He was yelling. I don't remember what exactly he was saying, and she was calling for help, and that had never happened before. Saying help me, just trying to calm him down, and he hit my hands away, and so I just went straight over to Amber. She sat down on the couch. She was crying and I put my body over her, and he came a little bit closer to us. And he was yelling at her to get up, or quit crying or something, and he was getting closer and closer. I was thinking if he gets any closer, I'm just going to pick up that ashtray and hit him with it because he was getting closer to us. Mr. Rottenborn goes on to ask if Heard expressed any financial motivations to wanting to remain in a relationship with Depp, and Ms. Pennington says, no. The court listened to a recorded deposition from Josh Drew, who is Raquel Pennington's ex-husband. He is being asked about the alleged assault that took place on the 21st of May 2016 at the couple's penthouse complex. Asked if he ever saw Depp smash bottles of wine or break furniture, he says, no. Mr. Drew says on the day of the incident he guided police officers through Depp's apartments. He claims one of the officers told him, there's damage in these apartments. Her face is red. If she files a report, we have enough here to go pick him up. Raquel Pennington's ex-husband Josh Drew was asked about an alleged attack that took place in December 2015. Mr. Drew says when they stepped in, the place was out of order. When we turned the corner, on a section of counter near the kitchen sink, there was something written on the counter, he says. I can't remember what material it was, and to be honest I can't actually recall exactly what was written, but it was something very, very weird. He goes on to say the message read, always such a fraud, or something akin to that. He is asked if he ever learnt who had written the message on the kitchen counter and replies, I'm sure there will be an objection to this response. But I knew it was his handwriting. Asked to clarify if he is referring to Depp, he says, correct. Mr. Drew goes on to say he saw Heard that night, and he noticed she had significant bruising on both eye sockets and her forehead was red. Amber Heard's sister, Whitney Enrique, was the next witness. She says she got on really well with Depp when she first met him, and goes on to describe the early stages of his relationship with her sister as wonderful. Asked about the changes she observed in her sister's relationship, she says, when Johnny was using there would be a fight. I saw it firsthand. There was always an argument, there was always a period where they weren't getting along, and it seemed to oscillate pretty quickly. He would be sober for a little bit, and then almost as quickly fall off the wagon and start to use or drink, and there would be some blowout, and it seemed to go back and forth frequently. She goes on to say that near the end of Heard's relationship with Depp she was so physically unwell, and her eyes were sunken in. Ms. Enrique says, if you put photographs side by side you would see two very different people, and people that knew her throughout the entirety of the relationship saw the same thing. Ms. Enrique says she did cocaine with Depp on a number of occasions, and he almost always had marijuana on him. She says she also saw the actor do MDMA and shrooms, and once saw him consume a Ziploc bag of unknown pills. He always had cigarettes or rolling papers. He always had a joint on him. If he was in a phase of using cocaine, he would carry around a pill box that had his cocaine in it, she says. Heard's sister says that if Depp took alcohol and cocaine he would slur his words and go on paranoid delusional rants. But when he was smoking marijuana he was much more relaxed. Ms. Enrique then says that when Depp was drinking he would just get really angry and say horrible things about Heard. She was asked about an incident that took place on the 21st of March 2013, when Johnny Depp allegedly refused to leave Heard's home. She says there was smoke in the air, which was odd, furniture was askew, and there was cocaine in front of Depp. 4 hours we sat there. I was trying to talk to him, making him feel like everything was okay. Just trying to get him out of the house. His assistant kept coming in and out at one point. Ms. Enrique is asked if she observed any injuries on her sister at the time, and she says, her face was swollen, and it was kind of red. I thought she had just been crying and her lip did appear to be cut, but again at the time, that wasn't what we were trying to do. It wouldn't have been appropriate to talk to her about it. That wasn't my focus, frankly. My focus was just sitting there trying to figure out what he was upset about and get him out of the house. Heard's sister says she accompanied Depp and Heard to the documentary filming and sat in the front of the car with the driver while Depp and Heard sat at the back. She says at some point during their car journey she heard the window open and saw Johnny holding our dog out of the window. Ms. Enrique says the actor then brought the dog back into the car and was laughing before joking about putting the dog in the microwave. Next was the recorded deposition of Elizabeth Mars. She says she visited Ms. Pennington at the Eastern Columbian building owned by Depp on the 21st of May 2016 to assist her in getting ready for a show the next day. The door burst open, and he came in, from my perspective, under the influence of something, drugs or alcohol. She says, he was holding a very large bottle of wine, looked like a magnum bottle of wine, which was spilling all over the place. She goes on to say that as Depp opened the door he mumbled, "Get your bitch out of here." His whole being really frightened me, and it almost felt like he was coming towards me from my perspective. I just ran out past him. I just remember she looked really upset and disheveled, and her hair was a mess. She had a swollen face, she says. We have next a recorded deposition of Amber Heard's makeup artist Melanie Iglesias. She was asked about the 16th of December 2015. Ms. Iglesias says she arrived to the penthouse to do Heard's makeup for the Late Late Show with James Corden, which she was set to appear on that day. When I came to the penthouse to do Amber's makeup she had injuries, she says. She had discoloration under both eyes and on the bridge of the nose, and she had what I would call a split lip, or something, or her lip. We covered the discoloration, the bruises, with a slightly heavier concealer. One that has little more of a peach undertone, which I normally don't use on Amber, but peach cancels blue, so I did that under the eyes. She says, although Amber always has a red lip, it's her signature look. I remember clearly talking that we had no other option that night than to use a really red lipstick to make sure we could cover up the injuries on her lip. Ms. Breedhoft asks, were you able to cover up all the injuries with the makeup you applied and as you described? Yes, Ms. Iglesias says. Camille Vasquez asks Ms. Iglesias if she ever saw Depp act in a violent manner, yell, kick, slap or punch Heard during their relationship. The makeup artist says she did not. Ms. Vasquez says, any injuries that you claim to have seen on Ms. Heard, you don't know one way or another how they were caused, correct? Ms. Iglesias replies. The court was shown a recorded deposition from Amber Heard's former acting coach Christy Sexton. Ms. Sexton goes on to say she observed changes in Depp during the times she spent at the couple's penthouse in Los Angeles. Johnny became, I would say, much darker as time went on. Figuratively and literally, he would sit in a dark room. The art overall changed, she says. Ms. Breedhoft asks if she ever heard Depp and Heard fighting, and the acting coach replies, I would just hear of him yelling. His voice would carry through the halls of the house, and then I remember one time Amber was trying to get out of the room, and then the door shut again, and I could just hear muffled yelling on his part. She, the actress's lawyer Elaine Breedhoft, that over the course of her relationship with Depp she became more and more like a hermit, and would only leave the house when she needed to. She goes on to say Heard would lose weight when she was stressed and would look skeletal at certain points in time. She recalls one period when Heard was skin and bones, and much thinner than she normally was. Thank you for watching till the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.